It was just ahead of its time. That's what we will, call it. But what's happened in the last 5 to 7 years is that these conditions that were showing up have caught up with the behavior. Urbanization has happened, nuclear families, people are choosing pets before or sometimes instead of children. These aren't trends. These are, kind of structural shifts in how, the Indian diaspora is living. And once a pet enters a home, the spend is not a negotiation. It's a necessity. You don't compromise on your pet's food and health. For the future aspect, the industry will absolutely grow further. India is still massively underpenetrated compared to what US or some of the developed pet care economies are, uh, which is what is going to be the most instrumental factor in scaling a business in this space. Uh, you know what you have as a product is going to be table stake. What you will get benefit from is going to be trust. When a category is underpenetrated, pet parents will be anxious, they will be less informed, but the one who builds trust, they will stay with that platform a lot longer because it's something to lean on to. Yeah, it's something to become loyal to in an emotional category like pet care. So from that point of view, we feel that there's a lot to do in the category, and the rewards from being trust led and care led in an emotional category are going to be very, very long term as well. See, I think we are building a support system for pet parents. On building that system, there are three pillars. The first pillar is on access, which is where our quick delivery for the largest assortment of pet purposed products comes in. We do that in Delhi, Bombay, and Bangalore as of now with a bunch of dark stores across wherein you can get 30-minute delivery across for pet products, pet medicines, etc., etc. Uh, you know, this the second layer of this support system is the healthcare infrastructure, wherein from medicines to teleconsultations to a vet at home to clinics which do OPDs, IPDs to surgeries as well, including grooming, vaccinations, etc. That adds to the second layer of the ecosystem. And the third layer of this support system is data and technology, which is where we know the pet more than anybody else. So we don't compete on speed and selection alone. We compete on who knows the pet best. A platform can deliver food to a pet parent, but it would not know what's the right food for a 9-year-old Labrador which has gut issues. It can deliver a product or a toy in 10 minutes, but it wouldn't know whether the pet is allergic to that toy or how much time would the dog need to destroy that toy completely. We have knowledge of those aspects as well. With this funding, we get the ability to go deeper on each of these three support systems, on access, on trust through healthcare, and on our knowing the customer through data and technology. Core focus will remain Bengaluru first because we have the most complete version of Supertails in this city. Uh, so the intent is to make this model completely undeniable in Bangalore, which undeniable meaning the pet parent really lives this continuity of care across all the three support systems. And Supertails becomes synonymous to pet care in Bangalore. On the business side, it would mean to continue to build on these three layers of support infrastructure. I think from day one, Raina, we were always about knowing the pet, and that was how we were well placed, compared to any other platform or any other offerings provider in this category was that we were doing conversations. We were doing real conversations, whether it is through our super companions, which do, hundreds of conversations daily, whether it is through our team of more than 100 vets, which do conversations daily, or whether it is the platform which binds them together, which is the Supertails app. All are very good input points of doing conversations. When you do conversations, You collect a lot of data. Get to know about the pet a lot more. These conversations give you data not just which is transactional, because that's what is guesswork, but what you get from conversation is real data, behavioral, conditional, life stage led, and a lot more. Now this is our differentiation. We have been at it for the last 5 years since we have built it. Now is the time to bring it into action. Now is the time when we are making the entire ecosystem offering use this data and predict a pet parent need than just fulfill a pet parent need. And that what makes us different. Interestingly, while in business parlance, the mode of delivery of one is offline and one is online, we look at them as needs of a pet and a pet parent. While online will scale faster, it's just the nature of the channel. Offline will be slower to scale, but it will build something which online cannot replicate easily. So on one side you get the scale from online, on the other side you get the trust and stickiness, LTV margins from the other side. Now that's the business side of thing. But the moment you look at it from a consumer point of view, they're not competing channels. They're different parts of the same relationship. The clinic visit should, be able to lead up to a follow up on the app. The app purchase should know about the last vet consultation. When these two worlds talk to each other, you get something they can't deliver alone, so they work very much in tandem, and that's the essence of the business model and the Supertails ecosystem. They're not channels, they're part of the same puzzle that we're trying to solve for the pet parent and the pet. See, Bengaluru is home to us, not just operationally and business model wise, but emotionally as well. That's where we are based out of. So there is a little bit of emotional angle of why it should be for Bangalore, and there is a business angle of why it should be for Bangalore. Our deepest customer relationships are built here. Our day one customers belonged here. Our most evolved version of Supertails exists here. So a customer in Kormangla, pet parent in Kormangla will get all their pet essentials in 30 minutes, all their medicines in 30 minutes. A vet will come home in 60 minutes through our at-home service. There will be a 20 minutes driving distance clinic, to them where they can groom, get vaccinations, or get any form of healthcare assistant for their pets. This is the entire ecosystem which is, coming alive for Bangalore, right? We already have close to 9 clinics live in Bangalore now, right? Uh, so that's the reason for why it was. If you're going to tell a story about what Supertails is, it's best told in Bangalore, right? Now, why Danish? Danish, not just because he's popular, he is popular in Bangalore. Firstly, because he's a pet parent himself, he understands this city's emotional language, and he brings his own creative instinct to this. He has written the entire script. The Mangaru Mulave reference, the film genres, the humor, none of those came from a brief. It came from, just the fact that the simple objective was that Supertails knows Bengaluru. Supertails knows the pet parents of Bengaluru. Now, Danish just translated it from the point of view of someone who lives here and loves this city. So, Raina, this campaign was interestingly designed as a very classic marketing funnel. First get awareness built. That then is when consideration and purchases are going to happen. The first couple of weeks were only about building awareness. We've already crossed more than 30 million impressions across the different digital channels, and you would be starting to see a lot of hoardings offline, auto branding, etc., which are just legs of this campaign just coming alive. For the first 20-25 days, that's how it will be. The next 45 days or so post that is when we will, use the exposed audience of the awareness phase into consideration and purchases. So from that point of view, it translating into purchases is early. That was never the plan as well. You don't get a purchase just by telling you I am here. You first tell I am here, then you tell why I am here, and then you tell why you should make friends with me. So that's the logical steps of any campaign. Uh, the early signals on I am here are pretty amazing. We've already crossed more than 3 to 4 million organic views itself. And then, it is still spreading and it's still distributing itself organically, which is great. A lot of pickups on LinkedIn, social, etc., are happening again organically, where people have noticed the ad, people have noticed the hoardings, which are very, very Bengaluru, very, very Bengaluru. I'm not sure if you've seen some of them, work from home, SaaS references, LPG references, all of them coming together in beautifully written copy and very Bengaluru again. So the early signals have started to come in. The brand searches have gone up in Bengaluru. The app installs have gone up in Bengaluru. Acquisitions follow after that. See, this is a 360-degree campaign. The mix of this campaign is across channels and it is deliberately sequenced rather than simultaneous. You first let your organic reach flow through digital, pieces of the campaign, which is the Danish film. Then you obviously, you don't do anything paid, no branded content until you find the natural ceiling. Then, we move to the next part of the sequence, which is you start seeding, you start to bring the offline OH in the form of hoardings, bus shelters, auto branding, come alive. That continues for the next 30 to 45 days. And then you surround it up again with the digital performance, which is, the bottom of the funnel. So it's a three-stage multi-channel campaign. And today we are, as I mentioned, in the first stage of it. For the next 90 days, it will continue to, um, keep reminding Bangalore of who Supertails is and why they should, make friends with us. See, Raina, we started from day one as a pan-India company. It's just that the offerings that we have for each city are at different stages of their completion. Bangalore is almost fully blown. Mumbai and Delhi, we have everything else except the offline healthcare infrastructure. 30 minutes delivery is already there. And then so on and so forth. The idea is to replicate, prove it in Bangalore, become the most undeniable business model in Bangalore, take it to first Delhi and Bombay in the next few quarters, and then replicate it first to the top 10 cities and then to further there as well. It's just a part of an overall plan as an ecosystem. We do not have an option but to execute, because we believe that the pet parent doesn't think of these offerings as different, and which is why the channels, the different business lines, the different categories, they are all internal to Supertails. For the customer or the pet and the pet parent, they are just needs. And how many of those needs we are able to fulfill through a single platform is going to define how much trust we can build, how much dependency we can build of Supertails in their lives. So that's going to be the logical extension of Bangalore to other cities. See, revenues are outcomes in this category, Raima. What we are looking at is what percentage of a pet's life journey is Supertails present for, is Supertails relevant for, and is Supertails able to fulfill. Now, for Bengaluru, that percentage of us being present for is pretty high right now. Now, the idea is to translate that presence into consideration and then actual fulfillment. Once that continues to happen, and from the first question where we started, where we are saying the growth of spends on pets is not slowing down at all, the revenue is just going to be an outcome. If the growth of pet spends is increasing, we are capturing a large part of that wallet share. Growth is coincidental. with the kind of investments that we have done in the last 12 months, and we are continuing to do in the next 12, I think we are looking at really taking this category, first starting with Bangalore, become the leader of this category, become the undeniable option for the pet parent from the consumer side, and take it from here. I think doubling ourselves every year is not a distant dream. It's a goal we are chasing than a dream we are living.